Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 608. I've got a bunch of stuff here. Let's move it down so we can see more pretty trees this morning. If you are joining me live, please say hello. Let me know if you have questions for me or if you have crafting things you want to share with me. Have you been working on anything special this weekend? Hi, Barbara. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Judy. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Cindy and Julie, Christine, Judy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 608. Hi, Thea and Joe, Christine, Barbara, Lisa. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Thea. Hi, Trina. Good morning. Hi, Rita and Kimberly. Good morning, Naomi. Hi, Petra. Hi, Constance. Hi, Lisa. Hi, G. Hi, Anna and Patricia. Good morning. Hope everybody had a nice long weekend. I know we took the day off from the podcast yesterday and I stayed pretty busy. I worked all day, but then came outside to barbecue last night and it started raining, so I had to barbecue in the rain, but it's warm rain in Florida. It's no big deal. Hi, Mark. Good morning. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Diane. Oh, so it's not Monday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Did I say happy Monday earlier? Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Sunshine. Oh, you received your yarn yesterday. Wonderful. Kimberly, how's Marlon? His shoulder's all better. Can you believe that? What a miracle. I don't know how I was able to do that, but thanks for asking. Yes, he is better. He has a birthday this Saturday. He turns 18 years old on Saturday. Hi, oh gosh, I can't see that name. Bronny, maybe? Thank you, Trina. I'm gonna go over here and read. Oh, 618 Maury, good morning. Yeah, hard to believe that he's turning 18. Oh, someone's asking about my earrings. These are the Kelly crochet earrings. I have updated the video description and the comments below with the things that I was going to talk about this morning. I'm definitely organized and on the ball today. So I have a link to where you can get the pattern for these earrings. They are so easy to make and so adorable. You make a crochet motif and then you stretch it onto a hoop earring like a frame. So awesome. I worked all weekend, but I like what I do, so I had a nice weekend sunshine. Unfortunately, it rained all weekend, so I didn't get to go for any bike rides whatsoever. But a rainy weekend is a good weekend for working. I did some research on some upcoming projects, research for a secret project I can't tell you about today, but I'll be able to tell you in a couple days. And I did some reorganizing on my website and did a new blog post, both of which I think you're going to love. Thanks, Judy. Judy posted a link to the earrings here in the live chat as well. Hi, Martina. Good morning. Yeah, they're so easy to make, but oh my gosh, you could wear these every single day. They're so light, which is great for those of us that have stretched out earring piercing holes. And they still have that big, bold look, and in different colors, they definitely give off a different vibe as well. But white's definitely classic. These are made in Be So Fine yarn and color Chantilly lace. So the blog post that I made this weekend is all about swatching and gauge swatches and blocking and all the different components and maybe some different varieties of what to do when a pattern says to make a swatch, get this measurement after blocking. Well, what does that mean? And because a lot of people don't know what it means, what do? They skip it. And when you skip it and forge ahead in a pattern for something that actually needs to be sized, you end up causing yourself really unnecessary problems, because if you didn't have the same gauge as the pattern called for and you tried to make a sized garment, you can run into a lot of trouble by either making something too big or too small. Now, this doesn't apply to Afghans or dishcloths or things like that. Not necessarily as important, but when you want a sweater to fit, or you want socks to fit, or you want a hat to fit around the head, it is very important to have your gauge match the pattern. Judy just posted a link here to the blog post I'm talking about, and I brought out a couple of the samples this morning so that I can show you. I wanted you to be able to see them kind of in real life here, but I definitely recommend going over and watching or reading that blog post when the podcast is over, because there's a lot of great information there with a lot of photo comparisons that you can see some of the examples that I'm talking about. One of them that I showed was the size difference in a piece of lace between what the measurement looks like before it's blocked and what it looks like afterward. So I photographed this watch on a ruler board, you know, like a big piece, so you can see all the measurements really clearly in the photo. I laid this down on there before it was blocked, and then blocked it and told you a couple different ways you can block it, whether it's steam blocking with an iron or wet blocking. And then pinned it out to measurement and let it dry, and then even talked about the fact that the measurement does change a little bit from that wet, stretched out and pinned place to when it dries and you let go of the pins. It does shrink back a little bit, not to the measurement from before it got wet, but just a little bit. So it is best to wait until that blocked and pinned piece dries completely, unpin it, and then measurement. And when you go and see all of those photos, and I photographed the whole process so you can see all of that, you'll see that this grew by over an inch in the width and the height, which you wouldn't necessarily guess that. So in lace, it's really, really important to see how the yarn is going to be affected by water. And the reason why we do this is because we're making things that we're going to wear, and things that we are going to wear are things that are going to need to be washed. So how yarn is affected by water is the most important aspect of understanding gauge. Then the next video tutorial, or the next photo tutorial I added on there, was some photos of working the same yarn with the same stitch pattern but in 3 different size hooks. I may need my body to show you this. You'll see the photos. It'll make sense when you see the photos. So I did the same stitch pattern. Maybe I can set it up. That's not going to work either. It's too close to skin tone. So I did 18 stitches in 8 rows in double crochet in a size 5mm crochet hook. Then I did the same exact thing in a 4mm crochet hook, and the same exact thing in a 3mm. You're trying to get a certain gauge and the pattern calls for, okay, for example, 18 stitches and 8 rows, whatever it calls for, it doesn't matter. If it says you need to have this much measurement with this number of stitches and this number of rows, let's say this is the ideal size that it's asking you to get to. And let's say your swatch came out this big. Well, if your swatch is too big, you try it again with a smaller needle or crochet hook. This applies to knitting and crochet, by the way. Let's say that your first attempt came out this size and it needed to be bigger. Then you would try a swatch again in a larger hook or needle size. And the other thing that I've noticed so many times over the years of teaching is that people assume that whatever size hook or a crochet hook or knitting needle that's listed in a pattern is the absolute must. You must use that size, and I'm here to tell you it is simply a suggestion. It's only a suggestion for a starting place, because everybody works at a different tension. It is just something about our own, like we have a different fingerprint, we knit and crochet at a different tension as well. So I have friends who we can make the same project. In fact, it's Judy Weingarten on here that we talk to every morning. She and I can make the same project with the same yarn, get the same gauge, but she needs to use 2 or 3 sizes smaller. Correct me if I'm wrong, Judy, but like if I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, she's using probably a 3.5 to do the same sort of, to do the same work. They turn out exactly the same, but everybody has different tension. Usually 2 sizes smaller, right? That Judy just commented that she uses 2 sizes smaller, and it is to get the same effect. So it's based on how you hold your hook, what kind of tension you use. It's a personal thing. Our fingerprints are different. Our personal tension is different too. So never feel like there's something wrong if you have to change a crochet hook size or a knitting needle size to get the gauge. And it's something that's not spelled out to you in the beginning. It's something that's really common. Lots and lots of people feel like they've done something wrong if they don't use the same size. And I'm here to tell you it has nothing to do with your skill level. It has nothing to do with the quality of your work. It has to do with the uniqueness of you, just like your fingerprint, and it's okay. So once you're familiar with a particular designer, like for example, if Judy's going to make my pattern, Judy's made many of my patterns over the years. When she sees, when you're familiar with a certain designer's gauge, eventually you'll probably assume that whatever size she says, I'm going to do something a little bit smaller, because you start to get familiar with that information. It's always just, Christine, you're picking up on it. Wonderful. It's always just a starting off place. That's it. That's it. Does anybody have any questions? Because I know that was a lot of information. Then I get to tell you about another thing that I did for everyone this weekend too. Great, Nora. And sometimes I think it's how, if you're going to do a starting chain, I think it's really helpful to go up a couple of hook sizes if you notice that your starting chain is too tight. Notice how, like, see on this one, I did these with starting chain, just a plain chain before doing rows of double crochet. Look at how much tighter my first row is down there than it is at the top. That's because the chain is by nature tighter than stitches. One of the major reasons why I use foundation stitches so much in the beginning in garments. If something needs to be identical on both sides, it's a much better way to get symmetry. Now, if you were doing something that top down or something where you want it tight on one end, it's perfectly fine. There's no wrong way to choose that. But yeah, the foundation ovals, if you want something with a little more stretch to it or a little more symmetry from beginning to end, foundation stitches are way better than chains for that. All right, Christine's going to try her gauge with a different hook. Great idea. And if anybody wants more information on that, that blog post talks a lot about the different processes and the different steps of it. And I will make a tutorial video to correspond with all that eventually, but for the meantime, there's great photos and lots of information there. So I hope you find that helpful. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Nora. Good morning. Does anybody have any other questions? You can tell it's been raining here. Look at how green my backyard is today. Hi, Migdalia. Okay, so let's see. Great, great. I see people are going to check it out. Wonderful. I hope it's helpful. If you have questions, by all means, ask. Hi, Judy. Okay, so I don't see any other questions right now, so hopefully we've gone over that enough. The next thing I wanted to tell you about is, we can talk about this. Remember the sand dollar bag we were talking about last week, and I said I didn't think there's a video tutorial for it? Well, there is. I think there's several of them. It might be a several video series, but I found it over the weekend, so that's the videos out for this. So if you want to make this bag, and I do think it would be really awesome making it in lots of bright colors in Be So Baby yarn. So if you need help picking colors and you want to pop over to that blog post I wrote recently where I talked about how to put different colors together, and I had some suggested palettes with some beautiful nature photos, I think that'd be a great starting place for picking colors to do this in bright colors. But the pattern is available on my website with charts, and there is a video tutorial. So that was an error on my part last week, so this is a video tutorial. And I'll put my hand in here so you can see the texture better. It's square motifs that are joined on the diagonal, and I call it the sand dollar bag because those motifs in the middle kind of remind me of sand dollars at the beach. It is pretty. I love this bag. So you can find a video tutorial for that after all. And while I was looking for that video tutorial, it was because I was doing something that I promised all of you recently, and that was I was going to put more organization in my playlists here on YouTube. And I know I have thousands of videos, and I know that that can be really overwhelming when you're trying to find something that you're looking for. So not only have I made more playlists, but I've organized them really well, and I made a page on my website dedicated to the playlists. So if you want to look, in case you wanted to do it there instead of doing it on YouTube, and it's embedded from YouTube, so you'll still can get over to YouTube from there. So I have playlists for everything made in fingering weight yarn. So if you wanted to make, if you're in love with a new color of Be So Fine Bling, or Be So Lush yarn, you're like, I love this yarn, but I don't know what I'm going to make with it. You can go browse through the video playlist for all the #1 fingering weight yarn patterns. Then I have a playlist like that for #2 sport weight patterns. So whether you want to use Sporty Bling Gold, or any of my other #2 sport weight yarns, all of those videos are there in their own playlist. Then the same for DK weight, Be So Baby, and for worsted weight. And this applies to other yarns that you might have. You might say, I love this yarn, but I don't know what to make with it. You can search for patterns by weight now. And what else did I make? I made playlists for types of projects too. There's a playlist for all knitted cowls, all knitted sweaters, all knitted shawls. There's a playlist for crochet tops, crochet cardigans / vests. There's a playlist for crochet cowls, crochet shawls. And hey, if you think that I've missed a category, because I know that my brain gets a little fuzzy when I work a lot, and if you think that there's a category missing, don't be shy. Give me a suggestion. I will definitely add it to my list of things to do. I'd like to make things easier for everybody, and I think that when you see this page, you're going to really love the organization. Now, like I said, if I missed something, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. And, yep, super busy as usual. That's right, Judy. Kimberly, I make bikinis in Be So Sporty yarn and other crochets that I've supplied yarn for. A swimwear designer, I believe she's done some in Be So Fine yarn, but I know she prefers Be So Sporty, and I preferred Be So Sporty for crochet bikinis. And I did them on like a 2.5 millimeter to 3 millimeter crochet hook, somewhere in that range, for a really nice firm textured fabric. Christine, I'm not sure about that. The search bar does work on my website. Maybe you've gone too high and you've gone up into the browser bar. That's the only thing I can think of, because I haven't had any trouble with that on my website. And I've been working on my website all weekend. Amritha, do I have a video for Bibiana top? I don't know. It's possible I do, possible I don't. I don't recall off the top of my head, but you certainly could search for it here on my YouTube channel. Once you're on my channel, I believe that there is a secondary search bar so that you don't have to search all of YouTube. You can search my videos, and you could search Bibiana or knit top or knit pullover there. You're welcome, Kim. I don't believe I've done that on my pattern pages yet. So you know the knitting pattern shop and the crochet pattern shop where I sell the ad-free PDF downloads of my patterns? I don't believe I've organized categories there by yarn weight yet. If I haven't, I will definitely do that as well, because I really do think things organized by yarn weight. So I've done it on YouTube already for all the videos, but I will keep working on it. Yes, Bibiana is in the Layers Knit book. It is also a single PDF download pattern on my website. All of my newer books that I have independently published are available as print books, digital books, ebooks, and each pattern is available single download. So you can buy a single pattern, or you can buy a whole book, you can buy it digital, print, whatever you want. And yeah, Bibiana Top was originally in Layers Knit Book. It's still available in Layers Knit Book, and it's available singularly as well. But I can't be 100% sure that the video's done. So I appreciate the question, and I'll look into it. Any other questions? What else did I bring out to show you today? I have to look and see. Judy doesn't think that there's a video for that. All right. Thank you, Pamela. I do cooking videos, Margaret. I haven't done them in a while. Haven't really done them since the, what's it called? What do we call it? The pandemic, stay-at-home orders. Haven't really done them since that all started, but I would definitely like to get back to them for sure. Or maybe I haven't done them since I had my surgery at the beginning of the year. Yikes. I don't know. It's been a while, but not because I don't want to do them anymore. It just hasn't worked in my schedule, but I would definitely like to get back to doing cooking videos. I've actually kind of thought about doing beginner cooking videos, you know, with my son growing up right now and turning 18. I don't know if he's going to want to do them with me anymore, and that was kind of the reason, one of the reasons why we had a shift in the schedule of them. He's not really interested in doing videos with Mom, and I get it. But I personally would love to get back to doing cooking videos. And when I figure out what makes sense for that, like the lives were fun, but I didn't think that they were as educational as if I did standalone videos. So maybe we'll do them premiere. Now that YouTube does that premiere feature, it might be more fun to do the videos that way, because then they're super educational. I get the right angles and everything, and then we have the ability to talk and you can still ask questions. So I think that's where my head is on it. But you know, groceries have been hard to find and stuff's been stressful, so I know some people have been making lots of cooking videos, but it's just not been where my head was at. But as things settle out here, I've been really excited about getting back to knitting and crochet videos. Kimberly's made it through the yoke of the Summer Love Vest and is getting ready to start the body. That is wonderful. Oh, so anyways, what I was thinking is it might be fun to do some beginner cooking videos too for kids Marlon's age who are, you know, just going to be starting out on their own very soon here. I know I didn't have anyone teach me to cook when I left home, and it's pretty difficult for the first couple years. We didn't have the internet back in the day. And so, yeah, I ate a lot of macaroni and cheese with cans of tuna in it. True story. I loved that when I was new on my own. And I remember the first time I thought it was a good idea to try to make homemade potato chips. Fire trucks had to get called because I had a horrible grease fire in my kitchen. Lucky no one got hurt. So there were a few mishaps in the beginning, all because I had no idea. No one ever told me you don't put water on a fire in a kitchen. Had no idea. Never heard of it. You know what, Pamela? I have not had boxed macaroni and cheese with canned tuna fish in years, but I loved it back then. Yeah, and Gino's pizza rolls, I loved those. But after a few years, you know, a couple of mishaps, I don't think I cooked for a while after the grease fire, but shortly after that. Oh, Martina, yes, she's going to make my kitty toys with homegrown catnip. That's awesome. I need to grow some catnip too. I'm seeing the comments, Thea. I'm not sure why you're not. Had lots of progress with my plants this weekend too. Kim, I don't know if you're correcting me or you. Um, well, somebody misspelled gauge. I don't know. If there's a typo on mine, let me know. Um, well, my homemade pesto last week with the homegrown basil was so good, and we ate it so quickly that we could. I was so anxious to grow up, or to grow more to make another batch and it wasn't growing fast enough. So I got greedy, and then on my next trip to the grocery store, they had basil plants on sale, and I was like, well, if they're on sale, I mean, I'll just cut them down and plant them the same day because I had potting soil here. So I have a second pot of basil now, which is going to be so exciting because before long, when they're both growing, I'm going to have to start freezing it, and I'm going to be able to have homemade pesto anytime I want. I am almost ready to share the pesto recipe. Yes, I feel like I was working on the measurements while I was making it this past weekend. I usually cook without measurements, so it takes me a couple of times of making one of my recipes to share with you because I have to figure out what ratio and measurements to make it a little more precise. And so as soon as the basil grows again now, I will make a video and share the recipe for my homemade pesto. It is super simple, super easy. I found a great place on Amazon for the pine nuts, which is more affordable than the grocery store. And other than pine nuts and fresh basil, it's pretty easy pantry stuff. You're welcome, Lisa. It's so good. Homemade is my favorite, and I'm definitely excited to share it with all of you. Does anybody have any other questions? Making me hungry. Oh, good. You'll have plenty of basil, Trina, then when we do share the recipe. Barbara's looking forward to it too. Yeah, great. I'm so glad. Yeah, if you don't already know how to make it, I will be demystifying it for you. You won't believe how easy it is. You just need, well, I use a food processor, but I guess you could go old school and use a mortar and pestle. I don't think I've done that. I've used a mortar and pestle for certain things, but I haven't done it for pesto before. I do it in the food processor, and it takes like 10 minutes. The longest part is browning the pine nuts in the pan. After that, it goes really quickly. Does anybody have any other questions? I have a very long list of videos that I would like to get to this week. Hopefully they will be things that you're excited to learn about too. Several patterns that need videos. And if you come across patterns that don't have videos and you want them, by all means reach out to me and I can get them on the list. I know that I haven't always kept up on everything over the years, so eventually I would really like everything to be streamlined where everything has coordinating tutorials. Where are the kitties this morning? Good question. Bjorn is sitting over there watching birds. Becker must have already gone back to bed. I don't see him out here. Oh no, he's sitting here too. Oh, they're both just sitting here watching birds. That's one of their favorite pastimes. Besides napping, it's watching the birds. It's kind of sad sometimes though when the birds taunt them. The birds will like sit on the fence here and just yell at them, and then they get all in a tizzy, and it's like, oh, poor babies. They're fine though. Oh, I know, the life of a kitty, right? You get cuddled when you want to, you get fed when you want, and you get to just hang out and nap all you want. Personally, I think that's a little boring. I like a little more exciting in my life, a little more excitement in my life than that, and I definitely like to be busy, but maybe a Sunday every now and then where you could practice being a kitty. Hello, Nana Pearl from Montreal. Did you know that I was born in Montreal? I'm a U.S. citizen and I've lived here most of my life, but I was born there. Oh, Pamela's kitty likes mischief. That sounds tough. My kitties are just sweet little babies. Thank you, Amrita. My backyard is so lush and beautiful. I love it. So grateful for it. Cheryl Ann has trouble working with finer yarns. You know, I'm glad that you brought that up. Years ago, when I used to teach nationally at trade shows, one of the classes that I often taught was tips and tricks on working with thinner yarns, and I think that that would make a fantastic video or video series. Yeah, there's lots of tips to working with it. The first thing that I will tell you is if you are working with a thinner yarn and a new pattern or a new technique, always try the technique on a yarn and a hook size that you're comfortable with. Always leave working with the thinner yarn to the last thing you're learning, and don't combine learning it with other things. I lived in Rosemere and was born in Sacré-Cœur Hospital. Yeah, I think a video would be really helpful, because just to get, and even a blog post, just to give you those reminders that if you're learning multiple variables at the same time, break it down so that you're not learning them all at the same time, because that's where it gets really overwhelming. Because you do have to hold your yarn differently when you're working with thinner yarns and thicker hooks. It doesn't, the stitches are very loose because we want them to block out and be beautiful lace. So we want it to look like that when it's done. And the way to do that is to have extra movement in the stitches so that they can block out. And when you work tighter, there's no room for them to go, which is fine for some things. But if you want to get this look, it requires using a larger size hook for the given weight of yarn than it does for working a solid pattern. And in order to do that, the yarn is loosey-goosey and the stitches are loosey-goosey. And if you're only having to concentrate on that component of it, it's a lot easier to grasp. But if you're learning a new stitch pattern and learning a new type of increasing and not really grasping the pattern 100% yet because it's new to you, it makes that aspect of it worth setting down sometimes, right? So always practice that when that's the only thing you're trying to learn at one time. And that is my number one most important tip that I can give you. And I promise you, if you practice the thin yarns on the thicker hooks, and this goes for knitting too, on knitting needles, when you're practicing just the holding of it, do it with something that you're already comfortable doing. Hi, Karen. I haven't been back. I don't think I've been back to Montreal since we left. I was 5 when we left. Esther. Hello from Ireland. Hi, Esther from Ireland. Yes, thank you. Aren't the birds lovely? Oh, we have a kitty. We have a kitty coming to say hi. Becker wants to come say hi. Hi, sweetheart. Did you want to come say hi? No, he didn't want to come say hi. He might want to sit on my lap, but he's not looking very camera ready this morning. Ooh, pesto on toast, that sounds good. Pesto's great on everything. I like it on roasted vegetables. I like it. Oh, you know what I really like it on? I like making zoodles. When you know how when you make the spiralized noodles out of zucchini, I think that those are delicious with pesto on them. Yeah, sunshine, I have found that too. Once you move to the thinner yarn side, you'll find that you make projects that are so much more figure flattering, and you develop a newfound love for them once you get over the fear of them. I agree with you there. All right, well, thank you everybody so much for all the great questions today and all the wonderful feedback. Again, if you find anything's missing on my website or missing on my YouTube channel, you know you're welcome to reach out to me and let me know. Leave a comment here, leave a comment, contact me through the website, or send an email to Judy and she'll get the information to me as well. So thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed my backyard, the show and tell, all of the links I talked about and I've shared in the video description and in the comments, so you can find everything that we talked about. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.